Welcome, and we're going to be talking about using devices in the classroom. Okay, I hope you find it useful. This is a webinar we did, I think it was in January or maybe even December the year before. Okay, January last year or December the year before, and a few people have asked for it to be repeated, so I thought we'd do it. It looks like we've got quite a few people here, so shall we start? Just as I always tell you, please remember that if you signed up through our website, which you should have, you'll receive a certificate of participation and a webinar handout in the next few days. If you don't, feel free to email me that at formazione@nlaworld.com and I'll get that back to you as soon as possible. The handout will contain all the important information from this webinar, so don't worry about asking for the slides or making notes. It's all there in the webinar. Plus, I've added a few links, including the Kahoot link that we're going to be looking at, the Kahoot quiz. And we're going to also have the worksheets and also some other links for things about using devices, some other ideas, a lot of useful information there. Anyway, let's begin. So you may be asking yourself, why would we use devices, for example, smartphones in the classroom? In general, we often look at these as distractions, kids checking their phones when they should be working, okay? But what we really need to think about is, how can we expect students to stay focused on the task at hand when they're sending messages or watching TikToks or who knows what else, okay? So these are the sort of general problems, the things we see as problems with devices in the classroom. And maybe we're asking ourselves, can't the classroom remain one area in which, at least one area in their life, where students can put down their phones and pay attention to the teacher? And if you're lucky, each other. These, I think, are good points, but I think, we do have to give students an area to detach. Okay? So I'm sure that it is a good idea to keep them off their phones in general, but as a reward, or as if we're doing certain activities, it really makes sense to let them use this occasionally. Okay? And, we can let them use technology in English. Okay? It's great motivation. And to be honest, it might be one of the ways that they're already in touch with English themes, whether they're watching TikToks or interacting with other social media. Okay. So I see Sylvia said, yes, some students have decided to collect phones. And look, I think that's a good idea. Okay. But, an idea is maybe occasionally as a reward, they can use them, but not just free use on a directed activity. Okay? Let's move on. One moment. As always, we have some objectives. So I hope by the end of this session, you should be better able to plan lessons involving the use of devices. You should be able to exploit the students' ability to use devices in lessons, both in the classroom and during online lessons. Okay? Hopefully we're not doing online lessons anymore, but who knows? And use technology to adapt traditional lessons in a new approach. Okay. So devices, how to use them. Okay. I want to know in the chat, have you ever used devices like smartphones or tablets in your classroom? Okay. Leaving aside distance learning online lessons where, in the bad old days when we were in lockdown, we're all doing that. But have you used them? Okay. So Claudia says for songs. Okay. Lina says using Kahoot. Okay. This is good. We'll be talking about Kahoot. Okay. What we will be talking about today is the task-based learning approach. And this is something that if you come in contact with MLA before in our centres or on our online lessons, I'm very sure you're familiar with task-based learning, okay, but we'll be talking about it a bit more. So things like Padlet, I can see, films and songs, okay, lyrics, yep, okay. And I think you'll find that in a lot of our other webinars, we're very device friendly in our webinars and our tips because, there's no getting away from it. Whether you let them use it during your lessons or not, they're going to be using devices outside of the lessons. Okay, so it's occasionally you might want to see if they can use them well, in your lessons, and it can be a real great reward. Okay. What is task-based learning? Now, I'm sure people who have been in our summer centres know very well, but task-based learning requires students to complete a task in order to provide them with an opportunity to interact in English. So the key thing is interacting in English, the fact that English is there so that you can use it. The devices are a means to use English, and the lesson is an opportunity to use English. So we're stepping away a little bit for a moment from telling them about grammar points or vocabulary points, which certainly has its place. But in a task-based lesson, we generally use this in our summer centres, for example, where we're trying to provide a full immersion approach. And then we also have the fact that in their lessons, they get this guided full immersion. They're speaking English, but the teacher's there to correct them, to encourage them, to give them the tools. Okay? So we use some task time textbooks. Now we're actually using them online, okay? And they require, or digital copies, I mean, okay? They require students to research certain information using their devices. Okay? To give you an idea, I want to tell you a little story, okay, that in 2020, lockdown, as we are trying to forget, but we probably remember, that MLA found itself in a difficult situation. Okay, we, in case you don't know, and I know a lot of people in the chat I can see, and in the names I can see, are familiar with our summer centres, but in 2020, there was no way we could run summer schools in the UK, Ireland, and the UK like we normally do when we're not necessarily still in lockdown, but international travel was very restricted. Okay, students had been stuck at home; their summer trips abroad had all been cancelled. Okay, so at MLA we were thinking about how could we run a summer school safely at the height of a pandemic. Okay, even though we had to obviously cancel the summer centres in the UK, in Ireland, and in the USA, we thought, what can we provide for students? One idea we came up with, and this is the idea we actually went with, is we organised online classes. Okay? Obviously, students have been doing online classes for a while, for a few months in their schools, but these are online classes that students could join. Generally, they were 2 hours, and the first half they did a virtual tour, and then the second task they did some task-based learning from our normal task time books. But in this first, we called it a virtual summer school because even though the students weren't able to travel abroad, we gave them virtual tours so they could go to different places. There are lots of these, and they're fantastic. They take you around famous cities, landmarks, buildings, museums, even natural wonders, as you'll see in a second. As a teacher, these can be really useful. You can require students to navigate themselves around these sites in order to find information, listen to speakers, and research more about places that they'd love to visit or places that are connected to topics they're studying. So as you can see on this page, where we've got one at the top where we're talking about a virtual tour of the Globe Theatre. So if you're doing Shakespearean drama, which I guess students do in the 4th or 5th of Liceo in Italian, in Italy, sorry, it would be a really good idea to provide them with this link and they can explore it themselves because you can see the diagrams, you can read the text in the textbooks, but it's nothing really like going in there. And it's, in my opinion, it's the closest thing to actually being there. Okay, and who knows, maybe on their visit to London next time they actually will go there. Okay? Sylvia asks, can you find the link? Yes, all these links are in there and a lot more too. Okay, so all the links, all the sites we're looking at today will be linked in there. Okay, and I've also put some others. Okay, and then on the bottom we've got Robben Island Prison Tour, which, as you probably know, this was Nelson Mandela, when Nelson Mandela was kept in captivity, let's say, okay, for many years. And this is something that is quite commonly studied in civics, as I remember. So these sort of things you can navigate to. You can always give them some questions, as you'll see, to find out about these things. One of my favorites is the David Attenborough Great Barrier Reef. It's I'm not sure if you're familiar with David Attenborough, but he's a British institution. He's been on British TV for over 50, maybe even 60 or 70 years. And he's still making documentaries. You can see a lot of them even still on Netflix and things like this. He's got very clear English. In fact, he's one of the most famous voices in the English language, I would say, up there with the late Queen. Okay? And he navigates you through this. To be honest, there's enough information here to interest students for many lessons. Okay? I don't know if I'd recommend that. It might be a bit over the top, but giving them a few things to find in a certain time limit can really encourage them to interact with English. Okay? This is one of the ones we sent our students to, and we gave them a checklist of things they had to find out information of. Okay, they had to also note down the thing they found most interesting. Okay, they're as who's this, Sylvia says, in fact, I was just about to say that they're great for civics lessons. Okay, Sylvia's talked about Anne Frank's house. Okay, so these sort of things. Have a look, whatever topic you're studying. Have a look, and if it's a location, have a look if there's a virtual tour on it. Okay. The next one, which we will actually have a look at, okay, what I'd like you to do, if you have another device in your hand, I don't know if you're looking at this on your phone. If you're looking on your phone, it might be a bit difficult. But if you have another device, type in UVisit Tour NYC, or just UVisit and Google UVisit and NYC, and that has a virtual tour. Okay, so if you go to that now, navigate to that now, I'm going to put some questions on and see who can come up with this, okay, as soon as possible. Remember, I'm not asking you to Google this information. I'm asking you to go to this virtual tour and see if you can tell me how many people visit the Statue of Liberty every year. It's information on the page that you're looking at there. Okay. Madison Square Garden is the first, the second, or the third busiest music arena in the world. Okay. And when was Brooklyn Bridge completed? Okay. I'm not going to pause too long, so I'll let you go on with that. Okay. If you find the answers, keep looking at the chat, and we'll see if we get some correct answers. But these sort of things, you can give students a number of questions, and it's a really important skill, something we sort of often neglect, the idea that they have to search for information in English, they have to, it's sort of comprehension. But I tell you what, it's going to be a lot more interesting than doing comprehension like they do in their books, okay? But also quite possibly a lot more useful. Okay? And at the same time, you know, we're giving them a cultural experience. They're finding out not just information about nothing, but information that, you know, will be useful as a tourist in the future. And, you know, we obviously, that's a real motivation for students to learn English. So I'll let you have a look at that in your own time. But going ahead, okay, we have made a worksheet to use in your class. Okay, in the handout that we'll be sending you, it will be attached there. And the answers for that, I put in the worksheet itself, in the handout itself. So we have all these, a virtual tour questionnaire. And so it's there, you could print it out, okay? Sonia has the answer to the first one. Okay, so I think that's 14 million people. I think it's more than just 1.4. Okay, so let me see if anyone else has got that. Oh, sorry, is it 4 million? Okay. Um, let's see if anyone else has the same answer there. Okay. And we've got these other questions on this handout that we'll be giving you. Okay. Sylvia asks, is it available just for American and English cities? To be honest, these sort of tours, if you go to UVisit, you'll see cities all over the world. Okay? Not all of them are of the same quality, so it's obviously useful to check these before. Okay, but I'd say if you're interested, if it's a well-known city, I'm pretty sure you'll find somewhere a virtual tour. And generally, as you can see in these ones, you can pan around. Okay, so it feels like you're actually standing there. In some of them, for example, the Great Barrier Reef one, there's interactive parts where you click on something, you watch a video. There's even some things where you can actually interact with it, move things, press things. Okay? Again, they're fantastic. Not just the cities, but there's certain buildings. There's air bases. As I said, the virtual tour for Robben Island has interviews with people who are guides there now, who used to be political prisoners back in the day. Okay? It's really it's a amazing resource to have these. As I said, it's not just one site, although UVisit is particularly full of them. Okay, but if you Google virtual tour, you'll find a lot. Okay? And even for some cities, you have 3 or 4. I imagine this is not the only virtual tour of New York. Okay? They're obviously really popular from a tourist point of view as well to promote the city. Okay? What I'd like you to do now is if you've got the app, okay, you can download the app. Oh, well, sorry, you can open the app. Okay, if you haven't got the app on your phone, you can just go to kahoot.com. Okay, and what you can do is pick play at the top of the page and choose either the classic mode for single students. This is what you would do if you're getting every student to play against each other. Or what you can do is put them in groups. Okay, I wouldn't imagine so many in a group, maybe 2 or 3 at the maximum. Okay, and they can use a shared device or their own device. Okay, what happens is the game produces a PIN number, which they type into the game, and then you add a name and you get ready to play. Okay, I'll show you in a moment. Okay, in fact, let me just stop sharing for a moment, and I can share the screen where I have this on, because I have one ready. Start. Okay, let me just see. It's just loading the game pin. Okay, so let me share this. Okay, if you can see my screen, you can see the number there, 1395088, or you can use the QR code there, and I'll let you register in there if you want to play with it. Don't worry, you don't have to use your real name. There's no shame. But Sylvia's registered, Marina's registered, so your name will come up there. I'll give you another minute to register and we can play this game on, we're going to look at English weather idioms, okay? I think you'll enjoy this one. Okay? A lot of idioms about weather expressions. Maybe they're using weather terms, they're not necessarily about weather. Okay? I'll let a few more people register, and I'm afraid I haven't got a prize, but see what we can do. 9 people. We've got quite a few more than that in the webinar, so if anyone else can register, I'll give you a little bit longer. If you have any problems, We'll see, Roberta. I might have a prize. Okay? I might take a note of who did this, and I'll see what I can do. If you feel like you deserve a prize, feel free to write to me at formazione@mlaworld.com. Okay, a few people registering now. Give it one more minute, and we'll start going. If you don't manage to register, if you're having problems, or if you're only on one device, you can always write the answers in the chat, what you think is correct. Okay, but I think you'll find if you can play on Kahoot, then it's a lot more fun. Okay, just a little bit more, and we'll get going. Eleanor, don't worry too much. You'll be able to follow it anyway, and in your own time, you can have a look at this because the link for this one is there. Remember that with Kahoots, you really don't need to have even created them. As long as you can find one, you can use it. And there's a lot of ones on English, vocabulary, on culture, on everything. Just, I would always recommend checking it before you do it. Before you give it to the students. They're not, sometimes the information's not correct. Sometimes it might not be appropriate. Okay. Okay, I think I'll start. I don't want to keep this waiting too long. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so we have some English weather idioms. We're starting now. Remember that it'll be a time thing, so you've got to get in quickly. Okay, so it's raining cats and dogs. What does it mean? Does it mean it's sunny, it's raining lightly, it's raining heavily, or it's snowing? Now, on your device, you should be able to click one of those. If not, you can write in the chat. It's raining cats and dogs. Well, we don't have any dummies in here. Okay, everyone got that right. Okay, so obviously we're starting easy here. Okay, but congratulations, everyone. Okay, just wait to move that on. Sorry, hang on a second. Look, here we are. Okay, big done. So remember, it also doesn't just give you a point for being the correct answer, but also for being quick. Okay, so congratulations, Grace in the front. Okay. What does snowed under mean? Does it mean I'm free all day? I have too much to do? It's snowing a lot? Or it's sunny? As you can see, the answer on the right, that's the people who are answering. And on the left, we have the countdown. Does snowed under mean? Okay, so again, most people got it correct. Okay, so it is, I have too much to do. Okay. Oh, Lena's taken the lead. Okay, what does I'm on cloud 9 mean? I'm unhappy, I'm blissfully happy, I'm sad, I'm tired. Oh, almost everyone got that right too, so I'm blissfully happy. Okay. I'm glad you're getting these right because this is sort of one that I designed for your students. Okay. So, you know, I'm not expecting too many people to get this wrong. Okay. But, you know, I think your students will find this a lot more difficult, I'm sure. Anna, congratulations, taking the lead. What does chasing rainbows mean? It means setting an impossible goal, looking for a rainbow, trying to catch a rainbow, or searching for gold. Remember, you can still join this, okay, by putting in the pin at the bottom. Okay, I haven't locked it. Okay. Oh, again, everyone's we've got some bright people in here setting an impossible goal. Still in the lead. Teresa has a streak with 4 correct answers in a row. What does storm in a teacup mean? Does it mean the tea is too hot? The teacup is empty? To exaggerate everything? The tea is spilled. Everyone's right there. Okay? Remember, it's always a good thing, even if you know it, always see how quick you can get in there, okay? And it seems to be the quickest one. What does quick as lightning mean? To have a temper? To get angry? To be very fast? Or to be asleep? Very good. Didn't want to make them too hard for your students, so you see. Anna's still in the lead, very quick, big fingers. What does under the weather mean? To be sad, to be rained on, to be grumpy, or to feel ill? This might be a little bit more difficult. See if anyone gets this wrong. Oh, here was the killer. Okay, so yes, here under the weather is an expression that generally means to feel ill. We usually use it when you're not ill with a disease or ill with a real sickness. Usually means you're just a combination of tired, to be honest, even hungover. Okay? Sometimes we use it. That's generally an expression we use to say, "Oh, I'm just feeling a little under the weather today," to mean not at my best, but I'll be better soon. Okay? Very common expression, particularly used with that. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. This one shook everything up. It's always good to put a difficult one in there. What does to weather a storm mean? Have an argument, survive a dangerous situation, be caught in a storm, or see a problem? To weather a storm. Unusual use of weather in this sense. Okay? We don't often use it as a verb. Most people knew that. Survive a dangerous situation. Angela, congratulations. Just to let you know, doing these Kahoots, what you can also do is you can duplicate someone else's Kahoot and add new questions, correct questions that are wrong. They take out questions that are inappropriate. So while you can't edit other people's Kahoots, that is their quizzes, you can take them and copy them and adapt them for your own purposes. So it's a really great way. What does to save for a rainy day mean? See? Does it mean an activity to do on a rainy day? Activity not to do on a rainy day? Does it mean to only speak about it on a rainy day? Or to keep something for the bad times? Almost everyone got that one there. Okay, yeah, we often say, look, I'll save it for a rainy day. Generally, it means I won't use it now. It's something I'll put aside and use it when I need to, when I'm desperate for it. Okay. So Angela's on fire there. Okay. As you can say, these kids would really love this sort of thing when they put in their name. We often had Kahoot nights as activities in our summer centres, as I'm sure some of you have experienced. Okay. The kids love it. And we generally edit it with, we put information about our activity leaders, our staff, our centre, our activities, and then also some things about the about English, and sometimes even some things about the students or the groups themselves. Okay? Great fun. Last one, what does under a cloud mean? Does it mean suspected of having done something wrong? Does it mean to be sad, to be ill, or to believe something bad will happen? Difficult one, this too. I'll see if you get it. Okay, final countdown for the last question. Oh, this one, only one person got this right. So if you leave under a cloud, and that's the general use of it, we say he left under a cloud. It generally means he left his job probably because he was suspected of doing something wrong, maybe stealing or some sort of fraud. Okay. So if someone leaves under a cloud, it means in bad circumstances, generally with a bit of suspicion around them. Okay. Let's see the podium. Let's see the winners. In third place, we had Sylvia, who's leading the way a lot of the time. And then we have Sole. And number one, Angela. Congratulations, Angela. Okay. I'll see what I can do if you feel like writing into me. And we had two runners up. Sorry, I missed those. I saw Steph there, but I didn't see the other one. Okay. Congratulations. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. And you know, as I said, this is just one that I thought we'd demo to you, but there's plenty more online. There's literally thousands there. Okay. As I said, be a little careful if they're all appropriate. Okay. But you'll find a lot of things. You'll have a great fun with those. Okay. Let me just share my screen again so we can see the presentation. Okay, so just moving on. Another idea is a mobile treasure hunt. Okay, in groups, the students can find free facts about a place or item. Okay, so what we have this, and I've put this worksheet in the handout. We have a mobile phone treasure hunt. As you can see on the left, we have some rules. Okay, they must use English websites. They can't use Wikipedia. They must write their answers in English. They can write down the web address where they found the information, or maybe not the full web address, but at least part of it. Okay, and you also can give a point, okay, for the most interesting answers. Okay, so it's not just whether they get answers right, but if it's interesting. Okay, I think that's always something to encourage them. Okay, a few people in the chat saying they can understand why the students love it. I'm glad you had a good time. I hope you did. I think we'll try to use Kahoot a bit more because it can be incorporated into some other webinars too. Okay. So they note the website. Okay. We generally try to discourage Wikipedia just because it's too easy to find the information straight away there. Okay. The objective is to find the most interesting facts. So we're not just, we don't really have questions necessarily. Okay. It's just, something about England, okay, something about Scotland, something about Wales, okay, these different places. Who is this person? Okay, what does that refer to? The man in the green hat on the with the rainbow. Okay, let me know in the chat if you know what it means, okay, or what it refers to. Okay, so okay, most interesting facts get the most points. Okay, so 1 point for something that is okay, it's an answer, but it's I don't know if someone came up with Scotland and the fact was Scotland is a country in the north of Europe or a nation in the north of Europe, or it's part of the UK, might get 1 or 2 points. But if they give you a particularly interesting answer, that the cross on the Scottish flag is called the St Andrew's Cross, maybe you give them 4 or 5. The group with the most points wins. So what you would do, what I imagine how you would use this is print a copy of the worksheet for each student. Okay, 1 mobile per group at least. Okay, you can even, in case you don't really want to have everyone using mobiles, you can just distribute a few mobiles or let them use 1 mobile in each group. Okay. For each picture, the students must find 3 facts about that place or item. Ellen asked, what are the names of English websites? They basically can go to Google and find this. So if they Google interesting facts about Scotland, then they find a website that they can go to and copy this down from. Okay? So you're not restricting them to any particular websites. Okay? They write down their 3 facts. It also this point, the 1 to 5 point, the getting more points for interesting information, encourage them to search and not take the first information they see. You know, a lot of people, if you go to Google, the most general information is at the top. Okay, so if you go to Wikipedia or even Google. Okay. The most interesting fact is decided by the teacher, or you could even put it to a group and you can get them to vote on other people's. Okay. Groups can gain points if they complete the last 2 questions correctly. So the last 2 questions are special bonus questions on the worksheet. Okay. They can add up the points, and the most points in the end is the winner. You might even get them to swap and mark other people's worksheets so that they can work out the points. They present their findings to the class by bringing up the website and telling the class their facts. Again, this is a theme of these webinars that we do. Get the students to do the work, get the students to demonstrate to the others. They teach the others about these interesting facts. Okay, they lose points if they write in Italian or they use an Italian site. Okay, or if they use Wikipedia. Okay, so they've got to. I mean, you might just have to trust them on the website it comes from, but you know, just discourage them from using Wikipedia. Not because I think there's anything wrong with Wikipedia; it's just an extra challenge. Okay. In this case, they're practicing reading, writing, speaking, listening, and conversation. Okay, as they all need to take part in this. This is the idea of putting them in groups. Okay, and I think you can use it as an English speaking activity. We're coming to the end now, so I just wanted to give some last points. Okay? As I hope you've seen in this webinar, these devices allow our students to interact with what is the most accessible source of English language in the world. Okay, that is the internet. Okay, it would really be a shame not to use these in class. Okay, to use devices in class occasionally. As I said, I'm not advocating using them all the time. Okay? It could be a reward for good work, okay, at times when they've been working well. Okay? Devices, I think we probably all agree that if you haven't given them permission to use them, it's best to keep them out of sight, out of our students' hands. Okay? I think there's a couple of points we need to pay attention to. Is that safety is always an issue. I'm not talking about getting hurt, but obviously you don't want to be responsible for any students coming across websites that they shouldn't be. I mean, I don't know what they do in their own time, but it must have some ground rules for using phones in the classroom. Generally, I would establish these ground rules. Maybe if you've got any other ideas, write in the chat. Students agree to use the phones only for the task at hand. So social media messages, photos, if we see them using those, they're going to be that one is going to be not used anymore. So you know, one student will be without their phone during this task. Okay, they should be visible. That is holding them in front, not down below the desk. Okay, where we don't know. So theoretically, a student should be able to check. Okay? A teacher should be able to check. They're kept on silent. Okay. Occasionally, we've seen in other webinars, particularly our one on music, where it might be possible for some students to play some music if they're going to talk about their favorite song, or if they have to. We had a X Factor activity in our music webinar. We may repeat the music webinar because it's a while since we did it. Okay? But I think in general, there's no reason for them to turn on the sound on their phone. Okay, and they can only be used in the tasks that the teacher has agreed. Okay, so you know, we're not now permitting phones in general classes. Okay, just for this period. Talking about devices, okay, please be aware that we are on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't know if we are on Snapchat anymore, but we are on TikTok, is maybe what I meant there. Okay. And we have lots of short instructional videos on grammar and vocabulary. So occasionally we'll have people telling about particularly vocabulary points. You can see our old Instagram and Facebook posts. Okay. So that's something that you could subscribe to yourself, I'm sure, okay? And you'll find there's a lot of interesting information. On our website, we have mlaworld.edu, which has a lot of lesson plans and things. So please subscribe to or to visit that site, and you'll find a lot of that. Okay, search for MLA World. So there's a lot of information. It's not just a business website. We've got a lot of information for you there. So while you've got a device in your hands, please look at us there. I'm not saying this just for business reasons. I'm saying, we try to provide a good service for you, for our teachers. Please let us know in the chat if you've got any ideas for future webinars. As I said, this is a repetition of one we've done before. If you've had any that you missed, maybe you've heard about, I've referred to them, please let us know, and I can always run a repeat. There are a lot stored on our YouTube page. So if you go to MLA World, if you search for MLA World on YouTube, you'll see all of these, or most of these webinars are archived, so you can watch them. I'm afraid I can't give you a certificate for the ones that are archived, but if you do write to me, I can give you the handout. Okay. For citizenship clear lessons, sure. Okay, Eleanor, good point. We did one on some elements of CLIL, but yeah, okay. We are actually planning on something, a few more. We haven't done a cultural one for a while, so we are looking at in the near future having a few more cultural ones where we look at sort of things that might be useful in civics. Okay, so must have to, so rules, things like that. Okay, business English, yeah, I'm noting those down. Okay, so okay. Chat GPT, I'm a bit obsessed by that at the moment, so I'd really love on there. Oh my God, I'd just be a little careful about introducing your students to Chat GPT in case they basically end up addicted to it like me. Okay. Thanks, Stefania. I'll see you soon too, I'm sure. Okay. Guys, thank you very much for your attention. Okay, you'll receive your certificate of participation by email soon. Okay. If you don't, let us know at formatsion@mlaworld.com. Okay, and you'll receive the handout too. So all of this information, the links you've seen, and a lot more are in there. Okay. Next week we'll have a new webinar. You'll see probably on Monday or Tuesday on our website the topic. So please join us again soon. Okay. 2030 goals, the sustainable development goals is a great idea. Okay, I wouldn't mind doing one on that myself. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you again next week. Okay. Bye-bye.